Hey, difference maker, it's Kirby. I trust that you're well. It's Sunday morning, and I woke up and I had this thought in my mind as I went to bed last night, and I wanted to share it with you because I think it's extraordinarily pertinent for so many of us, and myself included. So I wanted to share this with you because I think it will be very very helpful to you. And the reason for that is because I think there's this notion right now that we have to constantly up the ability, and we have to constantly upskill, and we have to constantly learn new things, and we have to constantly buy the new programs and the new training and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that we have to discount that, but what I am saying, and I was reflecting on this and I wrote this down because it's so important. Your current level of success has nothing to do with your ability and everything to do with your belief. And I was thinking about that last night. I was looking at our business and looking at what we've achieved in the last sort of 5 years as we've been on this journey. And I was reflecting on the week that I've just had, and I've just been, last 2 weeks, in fact, I've been delivering workshops in different locations. But this week specifically, I was in a beautiful part of Australia called Lennox Head, which is next to Byron Bay, if anyone is a local Australian watching this. And I was with a group of ladies who were doing a certification course. And the biggest thing in that room was they all had ability. Everyone in that room sitting around that table, they all had tremendous ability, as I'm sure you do, as I know I do. And what I found they were lacking was not ability, but belief. And that very thing is the thing that was holding them back from doing the things they wanted to do. And if I reflect on myself and be a truth speaker, I suppose, my belief holds me back too. Sometimes I think, who am I to go and share this message with the world? Who am I to go and be the difference maker and tell other people to be the difference maker when I don't sometimes believe that I can do it, when I sometimes don't think that I've got the skills or the chops to go out there and share my message with the world? So that's what I want to talk to you about in this video, okay? And I want to actually draw a picture because, and this is going to be the worst picture in the world, but I want to draw it anyway because I think it's just so important that we understand how this works. Because here's what I reckon, right? I reckon we have a level of belief, and that level of belief translates to, that's supposed to be an arrow, but who cares? That translates to your level of action, right? So let's start there first of all. So if you believe 1000% that you are able to do something, the action that you take is tremendous with respect to that. Like if you know that you can go and walk to the shop, well, guess what? Your action dictates that, and you go and walk to the shop. But if you believe that you couldn't possibly leave the front door because you were crippled with anxiety, you're going to struggle to walk to the shop. That's a stupid analogy, but it's the most simple way that I can represent what I'm talking about here. So in your business, or let's just say your life, because they're all intertwined, whatever you want, whatever result you want, however many people you want to serve, whatever you want to do in your business, I could guarantee you right now it's directly related. The result that you have, the action that you have is directly related to the belief that you have. All right. So your calendar is a direct reflection of your beliefs. The way you're showing up on social media or your emails is a direct correlation to your beliefs that you currently have about your desire, your belief to achieve, or your ability to achieve that goal. Okay. It's Sunday. I'm getting my words mixed up. Now, here's the deal, and here's the big kicker. Here's what I've observed. That level of action, if we bring it around here, that level of action directly relates to this word here, impact. And what I mean by that is that if you're taking massive action, then you're going to be seeing a bigger impact with your audience, with the people that you want to serve. And so as a direct result of the reflection of your impact, that's going to make you feel a certain way about yourself in your business. You're going to feel like, you know what, I can do this. And you're going to take more and more and more steps. Or if you're like most people, including myself, you go out to social media, you put up a post or a video that you think's like complete fire. And you're like, this thing's amazing. I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of the work I've put into this thing. You do all the stuffs. You build the pages, you put it on your website, you write the blogs, you do the fancy pictures, you record the podcast, you do everything that you're supposed to do, that the abilities tell you to do, all the things you've learned. And then the action you take is consummate with that, but the impact might not be what you expected. And so therefore, looping this back around, bringing it back around to the start of the cycle, your belief does one of two things. It either increases and you get confidence, or you shrink. And I know this is massively true for me. But here's the kicker. Most of us are shrinking, not because of the impact, but because we're not taking the action in the first place. And I want to talk to you about that now, right? So now that I've got that out of the way, let me just stop my screen share and come back to you. Right. So let's talk about the concept of goal setting, and specifically goal setting as it relates to what we've been taught. So what we've been taught in the books, all these books on my bookshelf, which, by the way, I haven't read like about half of these, but they look good, right? So what we do is we set our goals based on desire. And we say, I desire $1 million. This is like the classic thing I see in coaching businesses. I desire a $1 million coaching business where I can sit on the beach in Bali with my laptop and make $1 million. Now, who doesn't desire that? Like, everyone desires more money, time, freedom, etc. That's why we do the things we do. That's why we take the actions that we take. But if I was to ask you right now what your goals are, and we went through them kind of one by one, whether that's your business goals or your life outcomes, whatever it might be for you, you would definitely, pretty much 100% of the time that I ask this question and I say, how much do you desire that goal? Without doubt, I'm getting 100% desire. People are saying to me, Kirby, I absolutely 100,000 million% want to achieve that thing. Then I ask this question. How much do you believe it's possible? Like, with your current level of skill, your current level of confidence, how much belief do you have that you could achieve that goal that you desire so much in the time frame that you've decided upon? And in about 99% of cases, it's not a 10. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's usually like a 6 or a 5 or a 7. I mean, you might get an 8, right? So here's a question for you. What is one of your goals that you've set yourself for your business? Whether that's like number of customers or number of clients that you want to serve, or whether that's the impact you want to have in whatever way that looks for you and how you measure that in your business. Like, you obviously desire the goal. You wouldn't have written it down in the first place. So I just wanted you to check in on what's your level of belief around achieving that goal in the time frame or in the manner that you've decided it should be achieved. All right. Now, if it's less than 10, I want you to ask yourself a good question. What would you need to adjust it to so that it became a 10? Let me give you an example. If I think about most of my business, I've always had this thing of, I want to be able to impact 100,000 people. That's like this big thing that I've always talked about, 100,000 people. And by impact, I was measuring that by people who are either in one of my products or programs, like they're working with me, or like this on my sort of email list or social media, so that I can literally have a conversation and control the conversation that we have. All right. Now, how much belief do I have that I could do that? I desire it. Of course I desire it. I'm a difference maker. I want to make a big difference. How much do I believe it though? Like, truly, I'm probably not a 10 out of 10. So what would happen if I adjusted that a bit? Like, what would happen if I said, all right, well, in the next 12 months, how about we look to impact, 50,000 people? Is that doable? Is that more doable? Absolutely. And I 1,000% believe I could do that. So what are your adjustments that you could do to lift your belief to a level where you're convinced that you would be able to do that thing? All right. And the reason is, and coming back to the whiteboard again, if I can do that, let me just check. There it is. So imagine you've got 10 out of 10 belief. Do you think that's going to lift the level of action you take? Because you're going to feel more aligned and more congruent with your goal? I believe it is. And therefore, do you think that you're going to see some green shoots of impact when you do that? I believe you will. And so what I want to leave you with, let me just cancel the screen share again so I can see you. What I want to leave you with in this video is go and write down whatever it is that impact point you want to have, that as a difference maker, you want to go out to your market and you want to say, this is what I want to do. Now, that could be whatever you want it to be. I'm not going to sit here and say it should be revenue or it should be profit or it should be time with your family, because you're different to me, right? Like for me, my metrics are different to yours. But what would need to happen to your metrics, to your goal, if we call it that, if we were to look at like having that complete unwavering belief, which would lead us to take some small steps of action? Because I believe that for you and for me, the number one thing we can do is to take the right next step. And I say this all the time to clients and to people that I work with. Like, it's not about the finish line. It's not about winning the race. It's about taking the step that's right for you right now. Not worrying about what's right in a month or 3 months or 6 months, but like asking yourself, like, what needs to happen now? And what do I believe that I could achieve right now? Not what does the book tell me to do? Not, what does my degree tell me to do? Not what does my certification tell me to do? But what do I believe in my heart that I could go out there to the market today and deliver with full belief that it's going to be the level that I need to play at, so that you don't get overwhelmed, so that you don't get anxious, so that you don't, worse still, do absolutely nothing, which is something that I've been super guilty of. I mean, you guys have probably seen, right? Social media, Facebook, Instagram, emails. You can probably tell where my mindset's at based on the way that I communicate with you, because sometimes I'm like, bang, let's go. And I'm all in and I'm like there every day and I'm doing the things, all the things. And then sometimes I disappear off the map because I have to take a readjustment and it feels weird. And I know that I'm pushing myself to that next level of impact. And it sucks because my beliefs are still held back to the 7-year-old version of me who got picked on at school, right? And I know that that's the same for all of us. We've all got the hang-ups. And so whatever your hang-ups are, I'm saying embrace them. And that's what I'm learning to do. And that's why I'm sharing this message with you this Sunday, because I want you to embrace your hang-ups, but take action based on where your beliefs are today. Now, some people are going to say, yeah, but that's crazy, Kirby. Just take massive action. There's a book that's right there. Tony Robbins, he talks all the time about, to shit with the belief system, like break through it. Yeah, that's easy to say, right? That's easy to say if you've got like $7 billion in the bank and a helicopter and a jet. And you know what? For most people, some people can do that. I can't. I've tried it, right? But what I can do is reassess and say, what do I believe right now? And what is the step that I need to take? What is the video that I need to go and shoot that matches where I'm at with my belief or where my mindset is right now, so that I can start to make an impact, start to just chip away at the journey, start to take the next steps, start to show up for my people, so that, their journey is not in vain. And there's a whole other story I want to tell about that another time, which is a huge epiphany I had this week. And I'll share that with you, perhaps in the next couple of weeks when I let it sink in a bit more. So that's what I want to leave you with. So I want to leave you with the quote: your current level of success has nothing to do with your ability and everything to do with your current level of belief. And so I want you to go and adjust your expectations, your outcomes, your goals based on that level of belief, where you know unwaveringly that you could say, I can crush that in X amount of days or X amount of months or X amount of years. And you know within yourself that that's something that you can drive yourself to do without looking externally for other gurus, without buying another training, without jumping on another webinar, without reading another email and watching another video. Like literally just, I can do this on my own. I believe in myself this much and I can take that step, and then you'll build the confidence, and then you'll take further action. And of course, then you'll see the impact, and that will spur you on to greater things in your journey of being a difference maker. So I hope that's been helpful this Sunday. Have a great week wherever you are in the world. And if you've got any questions, hit reply if you're looking at this on email, or if you're watching this on the social medias, leave a comment for me. And best of all, if you could, share this with the world, because the only way I can reach more people and have a greater impact is if you guys help me on that journey. And I appreciate anything that you can do in that regard. So hit share, like this, comment on it, so that Facebook and Instagram love me and they give me some spread around the world with that magic algorithm. And I'll see you next time. See ya.